The Olympics are over. The he-she dropped. The U.S. did fantastic in shooting, and the female wrestler got the gold. Oh, and Obama turned 60. Yep, we saw that. Oh, wait. Hold on a minute. Is that COVID hiding behind the rock?
Uh-oh.
Crap. Yes, it is. Here comes the Fair Police. Thank God it's time for Freedom Roundup.
If you've been fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask. Let me repeat. If you are fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask.
Mr. President, you said if you are fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Hi, I'm Shaun Horner, Executive Director of the Heartland Fund Incorporated. Joined with me this evening are my usual crew. Starting with my immediate right is the lovely and talented Michelle Horner, President of the High Noon Republican Women's Group and candidate for Missouri House District 2.
Hello.
Hello. Next, we have the current sitting House Representative for District 32, Jeff Coleman.
Hey, Shaun.
And last but not least, Jackson County Treasurer and Campaign Manager for the Jeff Coleman campaign, Kress Cambers.
Hey.
Holy cow, I started drinking a little too early. All right, so we want to start off first with some really fun stuff.
Is it really too early to ever drink?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's right.
So we'll start off with who wants to talk about their campaigns right now and how they're going first?
Well, I'm interested to hear about Michelle's. Because I'm seeing
It
you.
just technically kicked off.
Yeah, I'm seeing
and
you on
we're doing a
Facebook, and it looks
fundraiser.
like you're doing a great job.
Yeah, I'm really getting out there and meeting my constituents and people that are in the area. I have that's a district the size of Delaware, 1,200 miles.
1,200 square miles.
1,200 square miles.
It's ridiculous.
It's 4 counties. It goes all the way to Iowa border. Starts in Cameron and goes all the way up. So I did go to Bethany and talk to some people at the chamber. I went and also talked to some people with some other clubs and the sheriff up in Harrison County this last week. And then I went to Blythedale. They were having a fair, which is this really small town, literally 10 minutes from the Iowa border.
If that.
If that. And I talked to a lot of farmers up there. I was in a parade. They have this great little festival that is free for the community. It's been going on since 1952, I do believe.
Yep, 52.
And they have the community made these rides. It's got an original itty bitty train back from the 1940s. It is just the coolest, neatest experience. And the thing that amazes me is Blythedale and all the surrounding towns up north, if you ever go to one of the small towns, they don't have roads. All the roads are gravel.
Mm-hmm. Even in city.
Even in city,
Yeah.
it's gravel. So it's like they're almost forgotten.
Yeah.
So, and they were really happy that I showed up to them because they think everybody just has forgotten them when it comes to politics and the Missouri down in Jeff City.
Why'd you go to Blythedale?
Well, one, it was in the paper that it was there, and I'm like, oh, our daughter's name's Blythe, so we're like, let's go.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, and they did tease her when they heard her name. They're like, "Well, we're glad we did this fair just for you."
Yeah, I wasn't saying anything negative about Blythedale. I just was.
No, it was funny.
No, it was funny, and they were very appreciative that I showed up. I mean, very, very. In fact, other people from the around the other towns in the community were giving me. I was giving them my cards too because they want me to come and do stuff
To their fairs,
For
their
the-
little
awesome.
things. So,
So
yeah.
cool. Yep.
So
That's
and
how
what it
starts.
takes. That's
So,
right.
and now people on Facebook are reaching out, say, hey, what about this area? Or, hey, what about this area? I'm like, getting there is 1,200 miles. So it's like, I can only do, and I said, I don't know everything that's going on. So this one lady's actually reaching out to me this week to do stuff a little bit closer to me than Blythedale, but
Yeah, funny little story. We did not register for their parade because we called and we never got an answer.
I don't think you register for their parade.
But we were coming. We'll just go up there and see what's up. And we literally got behind some fire trucks, and there were 2 of them, like an older one and like a new one.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're going to follow them to the parade. And we did. We followed them right to the parade. We're like, we'd like to be in this too. And they're like, sure,
come on.
That's literally.
And she came up. She goes, "We so appreciated you even spending the time a day." She goes,
had
"No
a blast.
no one comes up there."
Live music. It was fantastic.
That's
It was
awesome.
live music. So it just lets me know, because I've been asking Jeff some questions, and I was just like, they really are forgotten Missouri.
You just gained however many is in that population up there. You just gained voters
So
instantly.
That's the whole thing, right?
Right.
You represent the whole district.
Right.
But not everybody represents the whole district.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm not going to say somebody does or doesn't. I'm just going to say that not your whole district doesn't get representative. And so
Yeah.
that are represented. So when you do that, makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
yeah.
Really
So I'm
can
still
tell.
trying to raise money, which is something I'm trying to learn to do. So, and that's a slow go, but a lot of people are worried about the lines and how things are going to go with the line. So
Yeah, because we may find out that your campaign isn't even where you think it is.
yeah.
And I'm thinking that, I'm serious, you go to these other small town communities that do not get visited very often, those are going to be instant voters for you.
Well, and even when I went up and talked to people in Bethany, they were
a
very
larger
happy.
city.
It's a much more larger city. They were very happy I was there and talking to them and getting to know them, especially the sheriff. The sheriff, Trevor, I can't think it was Trevor Preston or I can't remember his last name, but he was really, really nice. And he said he would gladly, talk to me some more and help me
good.
with fundraising, because that's one thing I told him. I was like, I don't know how to do that.
So,
I mean, I've helped Jeff with his campaign, knocked doors, done parades, but I said I've never been on this end to raise money before, and so I'm like,
Michelle,
and I'm like,
here we are.
and I'm like Jeff, and I'm Mike Sarpoint. I'm like, I've done all this, but I've never asked for money before, so.
here
So
we
if
are,
you were to
Michelle.
plug it.
I
Sean and I
really,
are on the same wavelength.
so we really do need money. I mean, it's a 1,200 square mile thing, so we do need money to our campaign to help and stuff. 10, 20, $30.
So if you had a
anything.
website,
I do have a website.
what would it be?
It is Citizens for Michelle Horner at GOP.com.
No.
Oh, at GOP.
.gop.
.gop.
Citizens for Michelle Horner.
.gop.
Okay. And that's where they can donate.
They can donate money.
5, 10,
10,
50.
15, $20.
I'm telling you guys, even if you do $5, you don't think that's a lot of money coming out of your pocket, but it helps the candidate 100%. That $5 donation seriously helps a lot.
Yeah,
It
'cause
really does.
She's coming up on a big one here soon. She's gonna have to figure out something, because she's got to do flyers, and
We gotta do flyers because I'm gonna be at the Bethany Fair. They have a fair up
good.
in Harrison County, Harrison
Good.
County Fair. They have a big fair up there, so I'm gonna do that. So I need to do flyers and stuff. So
and the
That's
husband and
nice.
the family like to eat, so that's why we're
yeah,
because campaigns are expensive.
they're expensive. So.
They are very expensive. Jeff, what do we have going on this month? We have a very busy schedule in the month of August. You want to talk to that?
Legislative.
We absolutely do. A lot of what's going on right now is due to our tax bill, our property tax bill. We're getting out to all the areas all over Missouri, including St. Louis, southeast Missouri, Columbia. We're getting out to get the word out that, hey, property taxes are going up, property values are going up, and we haven't had our assessors always assessing to the current values. So now all of a sudden they're trying to catch up, and they're trying to use the latest housing values that are just going out of sight to come up and try to get all their monies out of you. So what we're trying to do is to limit that. So it's very important for people to get out, either talk to their reps or talk to me about how this new bill would work. It actually is not a bill. It's not statutory, which means the House and the Senate do not pass this. All that has to happen here, all I'm trying to get done is get the language out to the people, because it is a constitutional change. It's an amendment, and therefore the people have to do this. And once you learn what this bill does, what this language does, you're going to love it, because it limits your county assessor as to how much they can increase. Nobody loses. Your school districts are going to say they're going to lose. The municipalities may say they're going to lose. Nobody loses. We don't go backwards, we go forwards, and we just limit how much they can raise it. We're just limiting how much they can raise your tax assessment value. Does not affect your housing value for if you try to sell your house.
And we talked about this before. If they raise it too high, no one's going to be in the house. They're going to lose more money anyway.
That's right.
Right?
Well, I mean, it's really there. It's a nonpartisan bill because it's there to help specifically the low income and the fixed income folks. But it does affect everyone. But those are the two classes of people that we're trying to help the most, because what we found is people are getting taxed out of their homes when they own it. You think you own your house, but don't pay your property tax and see what happens. They'll come and take it. So we're just trying to limit that value. That's what's going on now, and then we're trying to also campaign at the same time, just like Michelle, right? Michelle, get used to it because that's all you do.
Well, it's really funny because someone told me there's like, and she goes, I just don't get involved in politics, and because politicians only talk about politics, and I was like, oh gosh, I just turned into a politician because I started talking about politics with people, right. And I'm like, that's one thing I just never really wanted to be, was a politician, but at the same time, if we don't wake up and we don't talk to people and wake them up, we're just headed in a really horrible direction.
For people that don't want to talk about politics, the problem is just what you said. They don't really understand what's going on until it's too late, and by that time, it's already happened. To you.
Yeah,
Yep.
And that's when I was talking to the lady that just opened the coffee shop in our town, and she's like, I've just never really wanted to get involved. And I was like, yeah, but if you don't get involved, look what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to stay away.
It's not going to stay away. It's going to just keep getting worse. And
It's a
we need
proverbial
everybody
hand in
to do something. And one of the farmers I talked to in Blithedale, he's like, well, how many people actually will do something? I told him, I was like, the more we get involved, the better off we are. And he goes, you think many people are actually going to do something? And I was like, it only took 3% of the population to start the American Revolution. I was like, and I know. I was like,
right.
I was like, it was like, have you been to a Trump rally? There's more than 3% of the population that go to these Trump rallies.
And I want to piggyback off what Shaun has been saying for a very long time. You cannot convince me
The most popular president of all time.
That's right.
No, he is. On paper. He
no,
absolutely.
on paper.
Yeah, on fake paper. But yeah.
It should be asterisk President Biden.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like it's the same thing. I'll meet a lefty halfway and say, okay, there was no cheating. I'll go that way. But then I'm like, but by saying that, we now have to say that Biden is the most popular of all time.
Of all time.
You can't have it both ways, folks. And there was like, well.
In fact, he didn't have anybody show up to any of his speeches. He doesn't still have anybody show up. He still doesn't have people show up when he goes these public speeches. The news people, they literally focus in on the small group, and they actually don't focus in on the whole room because there's only a handful of people there. They focus on those handful of people, and they're actually, the last one he did, it was in this big thing like Trump does, and it was literally 20 people.
Yeah, like squish up, everybody squish up.
And the rest was empty because someone actually showed a picture from the back and say, this is Biden's speech, nobody's here.
Right.
And it's amazing to me. So I know a lot of people are still scared because of this whole COVID thing too, and I'm like, dude, I'm over it.
Well, that's the thing. The left is scared of the COVID. Even though they've had their shot and they've been vaccinated, they're still scared of it. They'll still mask up. They'll double mask up.
Which is great about Northwest Missouri.
Nothing.
Barely anybody except the older people.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I saw one mask. It was an older person at the Blithedale the other night, last night. It was amazing.
We'll pass the Missouri River, that dividing line up there up north.
Yeah.
It's a whole different territory up there.
It is. It's
it
fantastic
really is.
up there.
Fantastic,
I love it
and
up
I
there.
love it up there. The people are amazing up there. It's just
You know what's so aggravating? You've got Biden coming out. We got to be worried about the Delta variants, and now all of a sudden we got the new one coming.
Lambda.
Where do you think that those viruses are coming from?
Oh, it's really,
What-
it's even bad.
southern border?
Did you see in the news in Canada, and especially in Alberta, Canada, a guy sued Alberta government because they said he had the Delta variant. He goes, prove it.
Yeah, prove it.
Prove it.
I want to know how.
I want to know you're proving that it is. And you know
Right.
what? They couldn't prove that he actually had
They're
COVID
like-
or the Delta or the Lambda. So now Alberta has to say, we don't know what you have.
Well, again, it's really hypocritical of this administration to talk about how these variances are coming in, and we got to be concerned about it when it's their fault. Their fault for letting it cross the border. And that's where it's coming from. That's why it started at the southern parts of the state.
Well, and
Absolutely.
it's trickling this way because they're giving free plane tickets, free bus passes to all these illegal immigrants
Yep.
that are testing positive, or they don't even know if they are testing
gonna say, they're
positive.
not testing anymore 'cause that was bad press, too.
And so they're just letting them go wherever they want in the United States
Here's your
and
free
get a
chance.
free
So,
pass.
If I get the Delta or the other variant, I am suing the president.
I think everyone that gets COVID
That's
should be
right.
suing the president
should.
and the Democrat Party
Absolutely should.
and all his.
So this is the thing, Sean. You talked about they were testing for the virus. Now they are giving away the vaccine for the people that are coming across the border.
Yeah, I saw that. So they're trying to get in front of this again, and this has always been the jewel of the left. We're not going to solve the problem directly
Yeah.
because we don't want to, but we're going to take away the bad press, and that's exactly why we're going to start giving the vaccines, because that then we're not spreading
Right.
the disease that is COVID. We're spreading the disease, which is the Democrat Party. So that's okay. That part is okay. We don't want to do the. we
Yeah,
don't
but
wanna
you
do the other
can't
part.
stop them from coming because they want that
They have
Democratic
to, they
base.
have to have because.
But it's okay if you're from other countries other than Cuba. Cuba, they don't want you here.
No, because you know that communism doesn't work if you come from Cuba. But if anybody else, they're looking at establishing a voter base that will just vote for the people that gave them stuff.
So this is par course for a totalitarian, authoritative government.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They cause the problem, and how do you stop the bad press from the problem? Well, we're going to do something else, which creates a whole nother problem as well. But on to Michelle's point also about these people coming from Cuba, they're fleeing exile as well as the people coming from the southern border.
Right.
But we don't want those people coming in from Cuba because they've lived through the communism.
Well, and so does, and the funny thing is southern part are the Venezuelans, and Venezuelans are done with
Right.
the Cuban also. They're also done because of dictatorship there. They're done with it
Absolutely.
too. They know that,
Absolutely.
and they're trying to fight it over there, but they can't. But you're not hearing the press is what's happening over in
No,
Venezuela. You're not
no.
You're not hearing what's going on in Cuba anymore because they cut off the internet.
Right.
And Florida's now saying we'll give you the internet. So
All right, so we're talking about the totalitarian COVID thing. We've kind of already mixed it up, but I want to take the next step. So before I go any further, do you guys have anything else to plug on campaigns, new stops, upcoming stops?
I just
public
encourage
appearances?
everybody real quick to go to citizensforjeffcoleman.com, hit that donate button. We need your help. Like I said earlier with Michelle's campaign, $5, it really does go a long, long way.
yeah.
That's where I get the funding for going across the state to spread this message. The message to try to help you with keeping your property value tax assessments down and not allowing them to just put whatever number they want to put on it. I need your help. I need your help financially. I need your help to get the voice out. So anything you can do is greatly appreciated.
No, that's it. I mean,
No,
you
that's-
said it.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you.
like I can greatly appreciate it. Any 5, 10, 20. I mean, there's a lot of things up ahead that I need money for to help. And that money, my donations a lot helps my community too, because a lot of events are actually community events like rodeos for me to go to and
Yep.
talk to people, tractor pulls that help that and stuff like that cost money for me to go to talk to people. So
Michelle, I know you've been posting a lot of stuff on Facebook, and it's fantastic. You're showing your constituents what you're going to be doing. You're posting events and everything else. Can you tell us where we can find you on Facebook?
yes, my Facebook is Michelle Horner for State Rep. It has a big GOP sign with Michelle Horner for State Rep on it. My face. I still need to get some photos and more stuff that I need
It's a
to
great
put on
picture
there.
of her,
But
by
it's
the
a
way.
good picture.
What do you got coming up next?
Really, I'm trying to do a tractor pull in Stanberry.
Oh, do me a favor. Tag me in that one.
No, it's I think it's Bethany, isn't it?
No, it's Stanberry.
Is it Stanberry?
It's a big tractor pull. We're
Oh,
going
my
to do
gosh.
that.
We're going to a tractor pull.
We're gonna do
Okay.
this tractor pull.
I love tractor
And I
pulls.
know that
Let's
I have
do
some
it.
other things. I'm going to try talking to other people in other communities, like in Cameron, and I'm also going to go around to other town councils and try to talk to their chamber of commerces and their sheriffs and
Smart
stuff.
move.
I have 4 different counties I need to be talking to, so it's just me going around talking to people and seeing what their concerns and seeing what other events are out there. I know I have a lady calling me to tell me what's going on so I can start getting involved.
Awesome.
It's almost like Jeff going around the state. I'm just 1/4 of the
Yeah, I
state
was gonna
instead of the whole state.
Instead of, in her case, it's like humongous. I'm trying to find, because I was going to show Kress a picture of your district, because it is ridiculously large.
So because of population size, when I ran for office, it was 5 counties, 4.5 counties. So I understand driving through, going back and forth I-70.
Yeah, because you
Sometimes
like all the
twice
way
a
to
day.
Marshall, wasn't it?
Yeah, all the way to the
All the
other
way to
side of Saline County.
County, yeah.
From Jackson County to
County,
Saline
Saline
County.
County.
And then we'd hit just north and go to Ray County, and then just north of the river in Clay County.
Yeah.
All right, so we kind of touched on this already with the campaigns. You were talking about COVID and totalitarianism. I know that somebody really, really, really wanted to talk about the AG and his continued, the Attorney General. We'll not use the AG. The Attorney General, Schmidt, and his relentless campaign to smack down unelected bureaucrats and their grab for power.
So I think I should ask this also. Jeff, are we able to do anything at the state level? I know the governor is very, very hands-off on local issues, but I think this is something that he can step in on, just like they did in Florida, just like they're doing in Texas. Ron DeSantis is doing a great job of stopping the nonsense happening in his state with the mask mandates, the vaccine mandates.
Yeah, the vaccine passport. Something needs to be done.
Yeah, the vaccine passport.
Yeah, I mean, he's stopping it. He says, not here.
Greg Abbott from Texas is doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying no to vaccines, no to mandates, no to masking in schools. Is there something that we can do? I know the governor's not going to do anything, but is there something that the legislature can do?
Well, I know
just
that
for
Brian
relief?
Seitz, he sit there and put a thing into the governor saying that he wants, what do you call it, a special session.
Okay.
So I was
Not gonna
asked,
happen.
I know that's not going to happen, but I'm just saying, I know that what else can be done other than,
Here's the problem, and this is where politics gets in the way, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got, even in our own caucus, you've got a split, because you've got half the people that say, yeah, we need to stop this. We need to stop these mask mandates. We need to stop the vaccine passport and such. And then you got the other side saying, hey, wait a second. I'm a private business. You can't come in. We're Republicans. You're not supposed to be involving yourselves in the private sector. And so, because I have one guy, and I'm not going to name any names, he's an attorney who's a Republican. He says, I should have the right to do whatever I want to with my business. I had 3 people who weren't vaccinated, and all 3 got the virus and were out at the same time, which cost my business money.
Did they go to the hospital?
I don't know.
Did they die?
No, they didn't die.
Okay.
So, there's that fine line that you have to walk. And that's the reason that you're not getting people to say one thing or the other. I personally don't want any of that. I think it's my right, and their position is, well, it is your right, so don't work for me. Go someplace else and work.
Yeah.
But the problem is, we're having more and more companies stepping up and requiring that vaccine. Now, here's the big thing. If they require the vaccine, they are held harmless. If something goes wrong, if I go take the vaccine
And you
I
develop
get
a heart
sick,
problem or
I
something
get-
long term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're held harmless. But yet they're the ones that made me go take it.
Because
You signed those papers saying that there is no responsibility from the company or the vaccine pharma.
Well, the vaccine manufacturers are already precluded. They don't even have to have you sign.
Though it's not.
When you sign those papers, though, it's saying there's no responsibility going to be held on anybody.
Yeah. That you chose to do so willfully, and it's like, no, I
didn't.
chose to at the.
You made me.
Yeah.
You made me.
It's like this or eat.
And what I don't understand is I don't.
What I don't
ask this.
understand. Go ahead.
Well, there's no way that this can be a safe or a good idea if they are mandating, forcing, coercing, or anything else. There's no way this is a good idea. You cannot coerce people or force people into taking this when it's not FDA approved.
And people will say that 2 of them are Pfizer and something else, but they're still not.
No.
They're just putting
none
extra.
of them are.
They're still just putting warning labels on what they can do because now one says it causes epileptic seizures.
We are still the guinea pigs. And I know, well, Papa Cambers is here in the studio with us. He's shaking his head. I don't want to talk. He's been in pharmaceuticals. I mean, that's been his career forever. And have you ever seen anything like this? The FDA non-approving or having emergency orders? He says never.
Yeah.
Never.
So I was just reading an article, and the article now says that there are unnamed companies out there, but they're larger companies who have had these incentives for you to go get the shots.
Yeah.
It's not working. So now they are giving a stick. They are going to start
Yep. They're gonna hit you with a
reducing
stick.
your paycheck by $25 to $50
Oh my
per
gosh.
paycheck.
To pay for the test that you're going to be forced to take.
So that is just incredible to me. What country do we live in now?
It switched. It's like it switched overnight.
Yeah.
It's amazing. that
Under
we-
this totalitarian government, under this Mussolini, this flaccid fascist that we have in control right now, is mirroring. Everybody hates to say this. Every time I hear on the radio that
Nazi Germany.
people compare it to Nazi Germany, the show hosts always cut them off and say they haven't killed any. Are we killing Jews? Guys, that's not the point. Before we got to that point, though, before Germany got to that point,
They're doing everything that we're doing now.
absolutely. We're not to the point that we're killing unvaccinated people on purpose, right? Or we're not killing a certain amount of
Yet.
people on purpose yet, or a certain type of people.
Yeah.
But it was too late for them to wake up and see what's going on.
So there was
Right now, we are seeing what's going on. We have that history to prove what totalitarian is, what tyranny is. And right now, we're living it, we are seeing it, and we are breathing it. We need to step up. We need to fight back.
So there's a guy, and I wish I could remember his name. He was out in California. He was doing a video of a fake petition to have people sign to send people to jail if they didn't have the vaccine.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and you cannot believe all the people that said, "Oh yeah, that needs to happen. They need to go to jail. We need to get rid of these people. They're not that they are putting us at risk."
But there's so many. Let's put them in camps instead. That's like, isn't that what he did? I think
I don't know if he in this one he didn't.
Okay.
However,
Well, that's scary.
how many? It's just incredible. What are we doing? We have 2 Americas we're living in right now.
And do you know communist China is not forcing their people to have vaccines, by the way?
Say they are not.
no.
No.
They are not. No.
Well, they could care less that their people
Well,
die.
well, the thing is, no, it's not that. They can care less that the Americans are dying. They don't want themselves to die.
Right. Well,
Look at it that way. There's a reason we're being forced vaccination.
Well, that was another question I was going to bring up. Why are they pushing this so hard?
Because the only people that should be in danger are the ones not taking it. At least that's been the case.
Because the vaccines don't work that if I don't get it, I give it to you. That's never, because if you've been vaccinated, I can't give it to you because you've been vaccinated. Hence, that's how the polio shot works.
in human history,
That's how it
every time
always
we've had a
works.
vaccination, you just brought up polio. We've all been vaccinated for the polio vaccine, but if just to say producer Becky hasn't been vaccinated for polio, we all have. Can we contract polio?
No.
Can she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whose fault is it that she didn't get the vaccine for polio?
Herself or her parent.
Hers.
Yeah.
Right. Not our fault.
Not our
We
fault.
shouldn't be telling her. No time in American history have I ever seen anybody come up to you and say, "Are you vaccinated? Where's your mask?" People are way too brave and outspoken. I know back in the Trump administration they call us fascist just because the left is stupid and don't know terminology, but looking at it, they are the true fascists when they come up to you and ask you for your papers. Where is your Judas star? Where are your vaccination papers? You need to get vaccinated because you can put my life in danger even though that I've been vaccinated. Shaun?
All right, so speaking of that, and we were talking earlier about Attorney General Schmidt, Attorney General. Has he mentioned anything specifically about the shot mandates or the mandates, anything?
I was going to mention that the majority of people that have COVID right now have had the vaccine.
Absolutely. Thank you. So,
And you're not hearing that on the news.
You listen to the news, and they'll say the exact opposite. All the people
they
in the
twist
hospital.
They twist the words around to make it seem, but the majority of them are actually vaccinated individuals.
right now in Jackson County, as you well know, because Frank White is just a shadow of Quentin Lucas and has to follow Quentin Lucas and can't make up his own mind. We are now under a mask mandate for no apparent reason. Oh, I guess starting Monday the
Tonight.
9th. Or
Well,
tonight.
the thing is,
Midnight.
well, it's
Okay.
really amazing. If
That's when
you
COVID
don't
comes
wear it, they can't force it because it's a mandate. So the thing is if you're complacent and wear one, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Don't wear one. I just don't understand why people are so complacent and do it because I never wore one.
So this is what the AG said on Pete Mundo the other day. I guess it was the 5th. Was that Thursday or Friday? It doesn't matter. On the 5th, Attorney General Eric Schmidt was on Pete Mundo's show, and this is what he had to say.
Yesterday, Jackson County Executive Frank White announced that he is also putting in a mask mandate for Jackson County starting on Monday. Are you going to file a lawsuit against Jackson County?
I mean, I'm not taking anything off the table. We haven't seen the order yet. We look forward to seeing the order, but obviously it's very concerning. And I think, again, this is more about other progressive politicians covering for one another, and than it has to do with protecting people. Okay, if you're vaccinated, live your life. If you're a kid, you shouldn't suffer psychological damage. You shouldn't be, not be able to go to in-person school. You shouldn't have to wear a mask all day long. You're not at real risk. Now, if you have high risk factors, that's different. But when you talk about vaccination rates, actually, what they've done in other states, including in Missouri.
Okay, so he said nothing is off the table. Nothing is off the
I
table.
hope he does something.
I really hope he does something.
I know that's the reason because Independence was going to put the mask mandate in, and
Right.
then he called the mayor, and guess what? No mask mandate.
No mask mandate.
Because Jackson County is all but Independence. Independence was not going to let Jackson County do the mask
So
mandate.
I know our school district, the Fort Osage School District, they're requiring the kids all of a sudden to wear masks at school, which is BS. BS. They are at a 0.008% chance
With them
of
getting it.
getting COVID or of contracting COVID, passing it, or let's just say getting COVID. The death rate for children that get COVID is so minuscule. I'm talking 0.00001%.
0.00%. Yeah.
Well, COVID, much like children, hides behind bushes. So I'm sure that's why. I don't know. It doesn't.
It's about control, and it's about
know it
harming
is.
our kids. This is all about harming our kids. This isn't, and if people think this isn't about harming the kids, then their eyes are shut, because this is about harming the people, scaring the people, and what you do to control your kids is you make them scared. And so you scare your kids by making them wear their mask. You scare the kids by doing these things about COVID, and you have it on TV. That's why, Shaun has told me about his mom watching these, the news, and just, they're scared. I'm like, well, I understand you're scared, but turn the damn TV off. Quit scaring people. But they don't want that. They want you in fear. They want you in home. They want you under their thumb and their control. And so they want that of these kids.
When we made, and I've said this, I can't even tell you how many times on this podcast. I said, once we made fear a virtue,
Yep.
you're going to be fighting that forever now.
And
right?
it's funny because-
I am fearful So I'm in the right.
Yeah.
So if you're not fearful, you're in the wrong.
Well, and the thing is that I have several very bad allergies, and my allergist has said no to the vaccine because I can't even take the flu
So
vaccine.
you talked to your doctor, and he said,
no.
please don't do this.
Please don't do
He
it.
didn't
Not-
recommend
yeah.
you.
It may have changed by now because everyone else seems to be switching.
But he's like, no, don't. He goes, we need no more. He goes, you have severe. I mean, they test me for 75 things. I'm allergic to everyone but dogs and dust. He goes, no. I can't take the flu vaccine because I break out and I have a severe allergic reaction to it. I'm not going to endanger my life for something that nobody knows what's going on.
Well, we have again, I'm not going to name any names, but we had a state representative who got COVID here just recently, within the last month. He got over it. He had health issues. It got a little scary for him, but he is in perfect health now. He asked his doctor, should I get the vaccine? And the doctor said, no. Why would you get the vaccine?
You've already got it.
You got
Yeah.
the best vaccine you could have. You got the virus.
Natural
and
immunity.
you got over it. So you don't need the vaccine. However, some other doctors may say, oh yeah, you need the vaccine. It gives you more. We just got to stop this. We have to stop it.
But the Democrats aren't going to. That's
No,
what.
because they're scared too. I mean, the Democrat leadership has done an awesome job of scaring everybody half to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even here in Great Valley, it wasn't that long ago, I get a thing pop up on my phone. 45-year-old woman who lives in Great Valley told her mom when she got COVID, oh, I wish I got that shot. I really wish I had gotten that shot and listened to everybody. And she ended up dying. So those are the kinds of stories that they want to put out there. Do we know that she really said that? I don't know that she said that.
Did she actually have COVID and actually die from it?
I don't know. She died. I don't know what other complications that she had. And that's the other issue. Most of the people who pass away of COVID have other issues.
And the
Comorbidity.
remember, the CDC changed last year when people were dying. They had all this list of COVID that had died, and they said actually they died of something else, but they had COVID in their system.
They changed the.
They changed
yeah.
what they actually died from.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, they probably tested positive, but now they don't even know if they actually had. And they actually said they actually don't know if they actually had COVID
Right.
when they died. So because the tests weren't good, like they're not good now.
And see, the other thing is, I don't understand why we're freaking out over a virus that has a 99.8% survival rate.
Control.
And control,
I was gonna say,
and then
that's-
we also have the vaccines that have killed a whole bunch of people. We had was it either was it
The
fucking
number
human?
was over 5,000 people last I looked.
Bird flu or swine flu.
It was SARS. It was SARS, and they had 50 deaths, and they pulled it.
Pulled it.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked
okay,
about that
yep,
last time. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah, and they pulled the vaccine.
Boom. Yeah.
We've had how many deaths from this?
Over 4,000. I know it's over 4, and it's on the CDC website. And people, all they have to do is look at it.
And right now we know what who COVID affects, who gets it bad, who gets it worse, who could die from it. My age range not included.
You got it, and I think you gave it to us because we were doing a podcast. The next day, you come, I got COVID, and I'm like, well, I was sitting right by you, behold.
Well, let me tell you, it sneaks up on you because I was doing yard work that night before or the day before. Now you guys heard the story,
Yeah.
and I was outside doing yard work, and I just thought I had the sniffles, a little allergy thing going on. I did go to a meeting with a bunch of 80-plus-year-old people, and then we did podcast.
Yeah, we did the podcast that night.
Next day I was
In a
at
little tiny
work,
room.
and I went, wow, why can't I taste my coffee and my salt and vinegar chips? This isn't what's going on
Salt
here?
and vinegar, you couldn't taste it?
Yeah,
that's a
that's
hell of
not
a warning
warning
sign.
sign.
And the boss is like, get the hell out of here now. Go get tested. So that's when I called you guys, and I'm like, hey, by the way, I hate to do this to you, but...
Well, and a couple days later, I was like not feeling good. I even told Shaun, I just don't feel good. But I have other than my allergies, I have probably the best immune system in the world. I really do. My body fights the flu and fights all this stuff. But I felt sort of, and I was like, oh. I started getting a little sniffle, but then it went away. So
All right.
I never lost my taste and smell, but I had the sniffles. I had
The regular like flu-like symptoms.
symptoms, the
yeah,
symptoms.
yeah.
All right.
So-
Well, we're not gonna dwell on the COVID thing because it'll just get everybody's ire
Well-
up. So we're gonna take a short break.
But you unmasked If you're vaxxed, you're not supposed to be a mask.
Yeah, according to Biden, but not by Biden.
No, he didn't actually say that.
When we get back, we're going to talk about President Biden and his little executive order that's going to change our spending habits.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it's coming up. Back in a bit. This portion of the podcast is sponsored by the Heartland Fund Incorporated, sponsoring issues and candidates that care. Appreciate the podcast? Well, it's expensive. Could we bother you for, say, a cup of coffee a month? For $5 a month, you can contribute to our grassroots effort. Donate online, day or night, at www.fundingtheheartland.com. Hello, sir or madam. We would love to hear from you. No, really, honestly. If you have any feedback, comments, or hate mail, or hate female, visit www.fundingtheheartland.com, or you can email us directly at media@fundingtheheartland.com.
If you like the podcast, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks from all of us at Freedom Roundup. And now on to the show.
Welcome back to Freedom Roundup, everybody. I am so excited. We have City Councilwoman Heather Hall on the phone right now. You know, Heather, the last time we had you on the show, we were talking about the mayor and how him and some of the city council people, they voted to defund the police by $40-something million, and they excluded all the Northland Council people. And Heather, there has been some surprising news that has come out from the Heartlander. It's an online newspaper. We just want you to tell us everything that's been going on behind the scenes and since this has happened.
Well, thanks for having me on your program. Yes, in fact, the new information that has come out, so when the Heartlander did the investigation piece, they actually took documents that the Liberty Alliance had uncovered, the Sunshine Request, that showed, in fact, many days, if not weeks prior to that surprise ordinance on May 20th, the mayor and 8 of my colleagues on the city council had been secretly emailing and texting about the plan to take $42 million away from the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. And wow. They kind of, probably off the cuff, I don't know what they did, but they kind of called themselves not Northlanders. We're not the Northland. And that's very divisive. You know, people always say, oh, there's a divide between the North and the South. And I'm like, no, there really isn't. Well, you know, they really decided to do that, didn't they? So that's a problem.
That is a big, big problem. And, you know, we heard from this article also that there were some sunshine request laws that might have been broken. The mayor deleted text messages. Is that even allowed? In your opinion, do you think that's allowed?
Well, it's not allowed. Let me just say this. If you use your phone for city council business, and those are city council communications, then they're completely 100% sunshineable. And so that goes for your text messages, that goes for your email, all of those things, your Facebook, your social media posts, whatever it is, anything we put out there under our city council communication, that is something that everybody should be able to see because we work for the people, and the people pay the bill, right? So they should have access to that.
Absolutely.
So this is Representative Coleman, Ms. Hall. It's what I will say in reference to your question, Kress. I think the way the law reads is that if you have a policy in place, in a written policy, that you delete certain things from your email or your phone or whatever it is on a routine basis, that is allowed, as long as you have a written policy that says that and you follow that policy. But if you don't have a written policy that says, I'm going to delete all my texts or all my emails every 3 days or every 7 days or every 30 days, whatever you decide you're going to do, and you don't follow that, then your information does become sunshineable. If that information is deleted outside the scope of that policy, then that is a major problem. So that's going to be the big question. Was there a policy in place for him that he had a written policy that he says, I delete my information every whatever the number is? That's going to be the question that comes to the courts if it goes to the courts. The other folks, your fellow council members, I think the information was left on their phones and left on their emails. So that is information that was obtained and now is public information. And the question is somebody actually going to take this to court and try to do something about it?
Right. And the other problem, too, is everything that we do, every city email, so if it's heather.hall@kcmo.org and it comes to me, even if I delete it on my own phone or my own personal computer at City Hall, it's still captured. Legally, all of our communications are captured on a server, so anybody can read anything, regardless of whether the mayor deletes it off his computer or I delete it off mine. It's still there. It's still captured through city communications, so that it's, our IT department. They're always there because they have to be, right? We have to track all those communications that come from our constituents. So whether I delete it off my personal phone or not my personal, but my city phone or my city issued PC, it doesn't matter because it's all still out there on the net, right, for everybody to read. And that's why they have to do that. And the bottom line is, secret or not, I don't appreciate people working in secret when these things are things that are a big deal. And this is something that they could have easily remedied by asking all of us. They would have known we were going to vote no anyway. It wouldn't have mattered. They had the votes. They didn't have to do it in secret. They could have told all of us, and we just would have said no, and they still would have had their votes, and they would have gotten it passed regardless. But instead, they were in secret. They did it several days out. They met secretly with the city manager. They met secretly, it sounds like, even with our law department and the mayor's legal counsel. And that's very disappointing to me as an elected person. My constituents voted for me just like all the other ones voted for them. My constituents deserve to be able to have testimony and those kinds of things just like the rest. And they acted like nobody else's rights mattered but their own.
Right, not to get anything out there that they didn't want out there. This is Shaun Horner. I did have a question. Where does Kansas City stand on the fund, not fund? Where are we on that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So there's a lawsuit. So
Right.
After this happened, the state of Missouri sued the city of Kansas City, Missouri, and the mayor, and they said, we want our money back. Give us our $42 million. So in the process, the judge said, okay, we're going to have a stay right now. While I review everything, Kansas City, you still have to continue to keep up your end of the bargain on the budget as is. So since May 20th till now, we're operating as we normally would under the budget guidelines that we voted on May 1, which means we're funding them with that $42 million included. However, we don't know the outcome. September 15 is when the judge is going to come back and hopefully say, this is my opinion. I think I fine for the state or I fine for the city. My belief is that they will fine for the state and the city will have to give back the $42 million.
So
That's what I would believe. However, I don't know that, and if I were Chief Smith and the Board of Police Commissioners, I'd sure be hesitant to spend all that money in case they took it away and got in trouble.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this kind of reminiscent of Tom Pendergast and the reason why the state now has control of the police department?
That's where I was going.
The irony of this is so uncanny because, the mayor, Quentin wants local political control of the police department so bad that he will go to any length to break the law, NEC violations be damned, and he's willing to let all that happen for politically, locally controlled police departments, which I believe Tom Pendergrass probably would say, wow, I wouldn't have even gone this far. He's probably rolling in his grave thinking, I haven't even been that bad.
If only I had thought of that when I was there.
Well, I was up in Maysville, which is way up north past Cameron, and they said that this kind of stuff can't happen up there because they said it's unconstitutional. And I sit there and I was like going, we have a thing with our Constitution called initiative petition, that if the left gets a petition to defund our police, that's the way they're going to do it. And I say, you can't be asleep and not see what's happening in Kansas City will eventually happen here. That we need people
yes.
like you, Heather Halls, to make sure they get in office and fight this kind of stuff.
We need to fight it, but I will say the only difference between Maysville or Cameron and Kansas City is in fact governed by the state of Missouri, and those other cities are governed by their mayor and their city and their police chief are governed that way. So They have a different constitution. We have a city charter, and our charter says that we are required to give the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department 20% minimum of our general fund budget, and then they give it to the police department. They can spend it however they want. The problem is, this is where Quentin's trying to get his win. His win is, well, we write him a check for 20% of the general fund, and we don't know where it goes. Well, if you and I, who are inside baseball, we know the truth, but the general public probably don't understand all the ins and outs of that. The truth is, every 30 days, the accounting people over at the police department walk over to the finance on the third floor at City Hall, and they say, here's all the bills we have to pay this month, and here's the budget line items they match up with that you approved on May 1st. And they give it to the finance department at City Hall. City Hall writes all the checks. It's not like we hand them a bucket of money and then they go spend it on trips to Tahiti. We actually come back to City Hall every 30 days, and they reconcile. Here's our $10,000 in bills. Here's the account numbers that they line up with the budget, and then City Treasury writes the checks and mails them to the vendors. And oh, guess what? If there's not $10,000 in that budget line item, they don't write the check. So it's not like there's no checks and balances. It's very deliberate and very methodical. And when the mayor says, I have no idea where the money's going, well, then that's ignorance on his part because he's not looking it up, and it's obvious. Everybody can do it. We all have access to this.
It's all public record, isn't it?
Record. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and it's completely transparent between the Board of Police Commissioners and the City of Kansas City, and every 30 days, the Board of Police Commissioners gets the budget, and who's on the Board of Police Commissioners? The Mayor of Kansas City.
Right.
So if anybody has access to it, it's him.
But he wants
Even
to
more
lie.
Than I do. I don't see that every month unless I specifically raise my hand to look it up.
See, you can't solve problems when you're out on the street corner in front of TV cameras all day, virtue signaling, basically. I mean, this guy paints himself as a moderate, and we know his policies do not reflect that. His policies are more in line with the far left liberal mayor of Chicago than anything else. I mean,
That's right.
What I've been seeing is he kind of waits and sees, what are these policies doing? What are these far left policies doing? Oh, my base loves it. The far left loves it. So he'll wait a little bit and then implement it. Sometimes it gets too late to the game. And I think we've seen that with the $42 million he defunded from the police, which also, Heather, it doesn't make sense. We're going to defund the police $42 million in Kansas City, but we're going to make sure that we have money is for recruits.
Yeah. So the two things that he's done since, so they took the money away, $42 million away, and then in the ordinance right after it, they gave him $3 million for a recruit class. Which the irony of that is, if I take away $42 million and I give you $3 million for a recruit class, that you then can't possibly hire and give them benefits and pensions.
Yeah.
Then that's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
And then the second part about that is they're saying, oh, well, the $42 million is just going to go sit in a fund. All they have to do is ask for a contract with us, and then we'll give them money for a program if it's warranted. Well, another part of Chapter 84 says that the state of Missouri does not get in contracts with local municipalities for that money. So they legally can't do it. But again, the general population doesn't know that. So they think that people who are angry about this are being unreasonable, when in fact, the mayor's hoping that we're ignorant and we don't know that, so we don't ask all those hard questions that he can just float through and seem to act like he's reasonable and they're not.
And we are so glad that we have a Heather Hall on the city council, someone that's able to raise their voice and push back against this nonsense happening in Kansas City.
Well, it's gotten worse. So after that, so as you all remember, a year ago, May, when we had all the protests down at the plaza, and then the police wrote about, a couple hundred tickets, right, to different people who were breaking the law. Well, then the mayor and my colleagues said, hey, whoa, that's not fair. They shouldn't get tickets. We're going to take those tickets away. And myself and one of my colleagues voted against that. The rest of them, 11 of them voted to get rid of all those tickets without any due process. So that was frustrating to me because at least if you wanted to get rid of the tickets, fine, but let due process go through first, and then the judge can say, well, the extenuating circumstances, yada, yada, we'll just take this ticket away. Fine, but at least they needed to go through the process of the law, right? And they didn't. And so they just willy-nilly took away their own ordinances and just threw them by the wayside for those people because they didn't want those people to have to get a ticket. And it's a certain pocket that they decided that they didn't want to have getting tickets. So that's one thing. Then, of course, they go through the whole process with the homeless. Well, that's a whole other problem because, in fact, the mayor really did a big problem when he put all those people in hotels and then yanked them out of hotels, and then they were back on the streets and didn't have a place for them. And then the pallet home thing was a disaster. Luckily, we put the kibosh on that because that was a wrong message to send. That does not help people. That only gives them status quo, if not even that, and it does not help people. And so that was very disappointing and very, in my opinion, disingenuous as the mayor and leaders of the city to try to expect that they knew what was best for the homeless population when we have people in that space who do it so much better than we do. Then, recently, he put out this new stupid mask mandate. Now, hey, I don't care whether you wear a mask, don't wear a mask, get a vaccine, don't get a vaccine. That is personal privilege. That's your choice as an American citizen to decide whether you want or don't want to do that. And when he put out a mandate and then goes out of town to California for a week vacation, maskless, and then comes back and expects us to all follow his mandates, and I have heard through the grapevine, I can't prove this, but I've heard through the grapevine that when he's in City Hall in his office and people come in for meetings, he doesn't make them wear masks. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard it from more than one person. So he's not even following his own laws in his own office, which is unacceptable. But here's the problem. So when they had those mandates or they had that crazy protest, they let all the people who wanted to come and complain or cheer or whatever, they let them come into chambers and testify. And then they let all the homeless people come in when that was upsetting, and they let them all come into City Hall and testify. Thursday, a whole bunch of people, like 40 or 50 people, came to City Hall to protest the mask mandate. They locked down City Hall, they locked down all the elevators, and they wouldn't let those people in the building to testify. The public citizens who pay the tax dollars for this one public building, City Hall, they wouldn't let them in. Locked the building down.
That is frustrating.
So, are they just picking and choosing who gets to testify and which public we care about?
Absolutely. That's what totalitarians do. Any dissenting voice that goes against them, they're going to make sure they don't get heard. They're going to push it away.
What media took that? There was not one media story.
Not one media outlet in Kansas City, Heather.
Nobody. No. And so I'm just out there talking about it. I mean, unacceptable.
No, and you have to, because, I mean, otherwise it doesn't get anywhere.
So we also heard that possibly some of these council people and the mayor could be getting in some big trouble asking to be stepped down because they circumvented the law, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure they did. Yeah. You mean on the 42 million?
On the 42 million, yeah. They voted.
Absolutely they could. Well, here's what, I mean, let's just talk about what could happen based on the lawsuit, and then what probably will happen.
Okay.
What should happen is if they are found guilty and the state wins and the city is found guilty and they have to give back the money, according to the lawsuit, they all have to lose their jobs, their positions, the 9 of them, and they will probably be fined or at least get an MEC violation. So that's what should happen. What do I think is going to happen? I think they're all probably going to negotiate, if we just give back the money, or if we just say we'll give back the money, let's just all let bygones be bygones, and they'll just wash their hands of it.
Yeah. Well, let's have a monkey court where we have the vote that we were going to win anyway and do it that way or something. Yeah, that's what I would be afraid of.
But then they get a slap on the wrist, and then they break the law again the next time because it didn't hurt.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's not fair. If it were me, I'd be going to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. You absolutely would.
Heather, just because you're outspoken, you're an outspoken, Republican, you call yourself a Republican, the only Republican on the city council, we would be getting in big trouble for this if it was one of us doing it.
And heaven forbid I do what I always do, which is I tell the truth, and nobody likes that for some reason.
Not in those circles, it sounds like.
I mean, it's really easy to tell the truth. It's really hard to tell a lie because now you got to keep remembering what your lie was, and they don't remember it well.
No. Very true.
Well, Heather, we appreciate you being on the show once again, and I am so glad that we have a fighter like you on the Kansas City City Council. If anything happens moving forward, I would love to have you back on the show. You are a great voice of reason, truth, and we will look forward to seeing you and hearing from you soon.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Heather. We'll see you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Heather. See you on next Monday.
Bye. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
That was Heather Hall, council member for Kansas City North. What do we have? Does she have like a district or something, or just Northland?
I want to say it's the 1st or 2nd district.
Okay. I just know it's Northland.
It's Northland, Kansas City, and I know
and chief leader of the rebels. It sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely, a true fighter. This you
And
guys.
their state rep is also. We've had him on. He's a Republican. The state
And I
rep
think,
is.
Josh
Josh Holbert.
Yeah.
What Michelle was trying to get to with the initiative petition was, okay, if they take it the next step where they go, okay, well, we can't cheat the system if we take it away by fiat. We have all the lefties in the state vote for,
Initiative petition. That's what we need. Initiative petition.
I could see them doing that. So first.
That's
first
why-
district. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, that's why, Jeff, we need to change that initiative petition process.
Something fierce. All right.
Just so you know, I have a meeting with the Secretary of State soon about
Because I
the
know
language.
that, it needs to be done.
We talked about that last time.
Yeah, we talked
All
about
right.
that with Jay.
So real quick, we got just a few minutes, and I promise that we talk about the Biden's new executive order, which we really want to talk about. And I know that my wife is going to spend many more minutes than 2, but I'm going to restrict you to 1.
If we have to get forced to get electric cars, I want electric
Okay,
bug,
hold on, wait.
period.
Okay, hold on. So let me do it first, and then I'll let you.
Well, I mean, she just jumped on in there. Let's just go then.
Don't even
She's
get her
excited.
started on this. All right, so by
I like how
2030,
Jeff though is on the podcast eating Doritos and then covering up the microphone. Like
it's
Yeah,
not just
they're
Doritos.
hot or not. Let me tell you, some of them are
They're
hot.
roulette Doritos. They're not
Okay,
just
you
Doritos.
anyway. All right, so real quick, executive order Biden. It's all cars electric by 2030. Who wants to take it first?
Me, I'm getting a bug. I already have one, but I want an electric bug.
Okay,
so honestly, I think this is him catering to the people that donated to him. The big 3 automakers. He's catering to them. Hey, we'll give you. During his campaign, they gave him a lot of money. We seen him with, was it Chrysler, Jeep? All those Chrysler and Jeeps out there during all of his stops. With the door, kids, the door.
So yeah, but the big money donors are
The big money donors, yeah, they're like, okay, what are you gonna do for us now?
But the thing is how many people can afford those electric
They
cars?
can't,
'Cause
so
those are-
they're gonna have to make it some type of government assistant program. And guess what?
that
goes down.
We're already at our debt limit. We can't.
We are not. No,
They'll
they'll
just
just raise the debt limit. They do it every time. Every.
But that's why our dollar is
year.
valued at 0 around the world. I mean, the amount of our dollar is going down.
Why all of our prices are going up.
That's why we are seeing huge inflation.
No, don't say this. It's so.
So, real quick, it says Biden's executive order will set a new schedule for deployment of new long-term fuel-efficient and emission standards to tackle pollution. So, if you look at the United States versus other countries, our pollution numbers are lower, especially when we're talking about the Paris Climate Accord and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
We have way
lower.
Awesome. Yeah, emission standards.
But it's been on that trend
We
for
see China,
decades.
we see India. Their emission standards are always higher. Their pollution is out of control.
But they're given a rubber stamp because they're a developing nation. India and China are still classified as a developing nation, which is
how?
Because we like not having I don't know. I got nothing, dude. I got nothing.
I know you want to wrap this up. We gotta
India
get done.
and China have higher emissions than we do when it comes to environmental. If you look into like the environmental, like they do it like a scan of the world,
Right.
and the emissions, you could see that there's like all
never
funky
been.
con-
It's never
all about
been,
control.
But
Shaun actually posted something on his Facebook on his storyline of he'll believe climate change when these elites quit buying shoreside homes that are on the
coastal
ocean-
properties.
coastal
Yeah,
properties.
I'll start believing it when the coastal properties go down in price and
they
the
start
left
getting
quits
flooded
buying
out.
them. That's when I'll start believing the global warming thing.
Well, that's where Obama lives on the coast, and he said by this time
It would be.
he would be underwater.
Well, now he
So why
had
would
over
you buy on the
1,000
coast?
people at his birthday party not wearing masks.
Hey, now.
Oh, I mean, we can throw in just everything. The last 2 minutes here on this
We're gonna see
podcast.
just how much
And then-
stuff we can dump in 2 minutes. Oh,
Yeah.
And it's-
Michelle's got another one. Hold on,
No,
wait.
no, I was just waiting for Jeff to fill in since does he have Doritos
Jeff's
in his
got the
mouth?
eye. Jeff's waiting to say something. Oh, don't do that to me, you sucker.
See, what's great is in the podcast, nobody can actually see if he's even at the table anymore, which he is.
Jeff, are you at the table still?
I'm still here.
Okay.
You know he's here when he's eating his Doritos this time.
Is producer Becky still here?
No, she's done. All right. I am going to put a bow on it. All right. On behalf of myself, Michelle,
Pretty pink
Jeff,
bow?
and Kress. No, it's a red, white, and blue bow.
America.
On behalf of the four of us motley people who really need to stop drinking, it has been great. It has been good. We got to go. Later.
See you, Sean. See you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Promotional considerations given by Heartland Funding Incorporated, helping promote traditional values and candidates. Contribute at fundingtheheartland.com.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.